Hello everyone and welcome to another video. The month of November is finally over, Marvel solicitations are locked and loaded, and I finally get to talk about the Black Cat Omnibus by Jed MacKay releasing in May 2023. The omnibus will collect Black Cat Volume 1, Black Cat Volume 2, the Iron Cat miniseries, and I wanted to make this video to go through every issue, look at the cover, talk about the series, and of course gush about Jed MacKay's Black Cat. And I really do love this series. I've done reviews on each of its parts. I definitely recommend you check those videos out. But first, let's get a closer look at what the omnibus will collect. Starting off with Black Cat Volume 1, 12 issues and an omnibus. And you might ask yourself, hey, if this is the same series, why are there different volumes? Well, the first issue of Black Cat was the fourth best-selling issue of the year it came out in 2019. It sold like crazy. Absolute madness for a C-list character. And come on, I love Felicia, but let's be real here. Fourth best-selling comic book of the year. The reason for that, it was variant covers. Of course it was. Marvel put out a ton of variant covers for this. And very importantly, they got J. Scott Campbell, the quintessential artist for Felicia. If you're gonna do the Black Cat, you need J. Scott Campbell. And not only did he do the standard covers for the entire first volume, he did a ton of variants for this first issue. So yeah, Marvel got the message. Hey, if we want this to sell, we're gonna need more #1 issues. So that's why in a single series, we've got 3 #1 issues on top of the 2 annuals, which are also billed as #1. So we've got 1 series, 1 writer, 5 #1s. That's a lot, right? Well, plot twist, there are actually 6 #1s, because Volume 2 here actually has another special one-shot that ends up the series. It's absolute madness. Is it great? No. Is it a sign of a healthy industry? Absolutely not. But listen, if it means that we'll get these kinds of stories, this kind of series, I'll definitely take it. Because Jed MacKay really did an amazing job with this. Right from the start, Black Cat Volume 1, 12 issues and an annual. The premise of the story here is that the Black Fox, Felicia's mentor, wants to retire, but before he can do that, he wants one final job. Well, in order to pull that heist out, he needs Felicia to steal different items, and that's the whole first volume. We get these 2 issues episodes where Felicia goes around the Marvel Universe stealing different artifacts for the Black Fox. She interacts with Doctor Strange, the Fantastic Four, and again, all kinds of Marvel heroes. It's a very light-hearted series. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's got great humor. Felicia is absolutely gorgeous and an absolute joy to read. Jed MacKay really got the character right from the start, and again, a very powerful first volume here. The art, however, I mean, we see these gorgeous covers by J. Scott Campbell. The interiors aren't by J. Scott Campbell, and I mean, for the first half of it, it's atrocious. It's genuinely bad art, but as the series moves along, we get different artists, and it definitely improves. And by the end here, issues 11 and 12 by Carlos Villa, absolute perfection. It just looks so good. And Carlos Villa continues his amazing work in Volume 2. But before that, here we have the cover for Black Cat Annual #1, and again, not taking itself too seriously. Just look at this. The final cover done by J. Scott Campbell, and it's an absolute treat. It's also one big fat lie because none of these enemies appear in this issue, but you know, J. Scott Campbell having fun with it. Now, moving on to Black Cat Volume 2, 10 issues, 1 annual, and a giant size one-shot. The standard A covers are done by Pepe Larraz now, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, Pepe Larraz is the best artist currently on Marvel, so of course he was a great choice. The only exception in my collection is the cover for issue 2 here. I've got the second printing of this, done by Carlos Villa, who also did the interiors, and like I said, I mean, the first volume ended with issues 11 and 12 done by Carlos Villa. He continues doing the interiors here, and just look at this, he does an amazing job. So Black Cat Volume 2 changes things a bit in that the story is told in different arcs. There's not really an overarching plot like we had in Volume 2. So the first 3 issues here are a part of the King in Black series, and normally I hate these events because they just interrupt your run. I mean, the Black Cat had nothing to do with Venom, with the King in Black, but actually Jed MacKay did make it work, and these first 3 issues of Volume 2 are really nice. Here we got issue #4, and the cover for this will actually be the standard cover for the omnibus, with a nice story that actually, and this is, I love that Jed MacKay does this, so he usually sets something up in one issue, then he doesn't bring it up for like 5 or 6 issues. Then he goes, hey, remember this? Volume 1 ended with a new character, the white cat, appearing on the last page, you know. Then nothing. Here we got issue 4 of Volume 2, and it's the white cat again. Really nice way of telling a story. Then we get into the Gilded City, and this actually concludes the overarching story of Volume 1, and we get to see what happens with the heist planned by the Black Fox. The Gilded City, definitely the strongest story arc from this volume. I really loved it, and it actually had consequences for the whole series. I mean, it basically gave us the Iron Cat. Then we got into Infinity Score, the final story arc of Volume 2. Really big one. Although we don't get Thanos here, which, I mean, you kind of would expect, right? with the Infinity Stones, but we do get a really cool story that needed a giant size one shot to wrap up. And of course, like I said, Marvel needed another #1 issue to sell. And finally, Volume 2 also gets an annual, and we can move on to the Iron Cat. A 5-issue miniseries just wrapped up last month. Jed MacKay, of course, again doing the writing, and on art we get Per Perez, Frank Darmata on colors, the same team that worked on the Spider-Woman series, and man, as much as I loved Carlos Villa on The Black Cat, Per Perez and Frank Darmata just knock it out of the park. The absolute best art in this entire series, in this entire run. Check out my review of this to see just how beautiful each and every page of this can get. Now, 5-issue miniseries, and we finally get the interior artist doing the main covers. Like I said, Per Perez knocked it out of the park, and I guess Marvel just had to acknowledge it. One single story arc, and in my review I called it the best one out of this entire run, and I do stand by this. We also get to see again how Jed MacKay's writing style works. I mean, he introduced the Iron Cat costume at the end of Volume 1, then had 12 full issues in Volume 2. No mention of this. Then we get the Iron Cat miniseries, and it's like, hey, remember this? Yeah, dude. It's nice of you to bring it back, because it really is a nice addition, and I definitely do hope that Marvel does more with the Iron Cat. Both the costume and the new character it introduced. So, a single story arc showing us, like I said, the consequences of the Gilded City and of the whole story from Volume 1, what happened with the Black Fox's final heist. Really nice stuff here, and again, Jed MacKay really closing out his run with this, and just showing us that yes, he did do an awesome job with the whole thing. This isn't one of those series where you could go, oh, I liked this part, but the series fell off here, or oh, I didn't like it at first, but the series won me over. No, this is consistency. The quality of Jed MacKay's Black Cat run is a straight line. If you enjoyed it at first, you will enjoy it in the end. If not, maybe this wasn't for you, but in my opinion, everyone should try this out. I definitely recommend it. I'm gonna assume you'll enjoy it. Trust me on this, it's really good. I mean, come on, it's already getting an omnibus. How many current series, are getting omnibuses? Not a lot. This one is. So, if this isn't a recommendation, not from me, from Marvel themselves, I don't know what is. So, the omnibus collecting Volume 1, 12 issues, and an annual, Volume 2 with 10 issues, an annual, and a giant size one-shot, the Iron Cat miniseries with 5 issues, and finally, the Spider-Man Free Comic Book Day issue from 2019. Well, actually, half an issue. We only get the Black Cat Spidey storyline, but come on, that's all we need. Venom's got nothing to do with this. And that's it. That wraps up my video on the upcoming Black Cat by Jed MacKay Omnibus. Be hyped, check it out, buy it when it comes out, read it, and I promise you'll definitely enjoy it. And if you need more convincing, check out the reviews I've done on this entire run, starting off with my review of Black Cat Volume 1. It should be up on the screen right now. If not, I'll put a link in the description. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.